This is Optimistic Point. Here we tell stories, we share experiences, we celebrate resilience, self-determination and optimism. We want people at home to learn from the experience of others. Yeah, Edeama, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Edeama, please, can we meet you? Can you introduce yourself to us? Let's meet you better.
Okay. I am Edeama Onwuchekwa. That looks long. So I am Edeama Onwuchekwa.
Okay.
And I'll tell about my education.
Education, your background,
Okay.
Other things you wish we can know about you.
Well, professionally and academically, I've been a librarian all my life. Yeah, I had my first degree with the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and went for my second degree still in information science with University of Ghana, Legon.
That's interesting.
And coincidentally, I went for I'm actually a doctorate, wrapping up my doctorate program with University of South Africa, Pretoria.
Wow.
So I tend to always University of the country.
Yeah,
where
the country.
Well,
yeah. That's great. That's
Thank
great.
you.
So why librarianship? Why choosing this line?
Well, I like to say that a librarian is, or the library profession has to do with so much information, and I've always been a lover of information. I've found out that even there's nothing in life that you're not going to need information to get out of solution, to get a solution. And so the crave and the desire for this profession came in my need and always want to know.
Want to know.
Yeah. So growing up, I always wanted to just read books. In fact, all I wanted was wake up in the morning, read books, get a source for information, and give it out. And when I found out there was a course like library information science, I felt that was it.
Are you serious? You deliberately chose that course?
Yeah, coincidentally, it was very funny. The first degree, exam degree, when they said, what are you going to read? And I said, I'm reading library and information science. I remember a legal friend telling me, do you want to be a bookkeeper? I'm like, no, it's not about being a bookkeeper. And then somebody said, why don't you become a lawyer? You're smart enough to be a lawyer. And I was like, no, I want to read library and information science.
Wow.
And right now, I don't have any regrets.
Actually, it's very strange, people don't really go for librarianship.
Yes, I'm one of the strangest people I've ever.
So far so good. Looking back, are you happy? Are you fulfilled? So far so good.
Yeah, like I said earlier, no regrets. I tell people right now, if I'm caught somewhere else, years or decades after, I'll still be a librarian.
Wow.
I'm more of an information provider. Exactly. Yeah.
Tell us the job description or what librarians do nowadays.
Well, the beautiful thing is that there's dynamism in every profession.
Oh, interesting.
Initially, you would know that looking back into the history of librarianship, it had more to do with keeping records and keeping information. And then librarians waited for people to come to meet them for information. But right now, the change is up. We have to go out to meet them, and that's the fun. Providing information solutions to people, that's what is a beautiful thing. Apart from the normal traditional thing that makes a librarian more like cataloging, classification, indexing and abstracting, bibliographic details. Right now, librarianship goes beyond that into researching, finding out going into the research world before the problem comes and getting the information for the people in the information world. So it goes beyond the normal thing into providing information. I think the summary, which is my watchword for my profession, is information provision at its best.
At its best.
I love to say that. That's my key word for my profession, providing information at its best.
Yeah, thanks. And now about your professional experiences. Now, can you tell us about your background, your experience, educational background, from primary school to date?
Like everybody knows, the younger time is, and the primary school time is a bit easier because there are little or no challenges. But I remember the first time I had to go to University of Ghana for my master's. I got into class the first time. In Nsukka, I was more like one of the bright students. And then the lecturer came in and said, I hope all of you are prepared for this master's class, and then hope you have your pen drives. And that was my first exposure to electronic access via education. And it was really it was challenging. So the very first challenge I had, which wasn't so much, was in the master's. And then when I registered for my PhD program in South Africa, that had to do a bit with both emotional. And then I started the program in just a year before my husband passed on, and that was the greatest blow. I remember doing a mail to my supervisor and saying, I just lost someone. I'm not sure I can take up this program. Can I defer? And to my amazement, she sent me back a mail and said, Edeama, clean your eyes and get back to work. I felt that was the worst thing you could have told me at that moment. I felt bad. I felt she was mean. But looking back at it now, I felt that was the best thing to do.
Wow, you have given up.
I actually wanted to give up. And so I called my mentor, Dr. Igwe, who was coincidentally my boss, and I said, you can't imagine what my supervisor is telling me to clean my eyes and get to work after losing my husband just within me.
Yeah,
and he said,
and get to work.
Said, Edeama, if you can do it, I think you can. Clean your eyes and get to work. And that was what I needed.
Wow, interesting. But you mentioned something which made me feel so bad. You look very young. I think it should be your mid 30s. But you said you lost your husband.
Yeah.
After the death of your husband, how do you take it?
Well, the truth is, everyone has challenges, but how you make the challenges work. I get up to the bright side of life, and I tell people there's something I say. I'm believing God for the best. I got 2 boys, they're 2 awesome boys and 2 energetic guys.
Wow, that's great.
But you know what? I try to let them see the bright side of life. Every morning I tell them we're believing God for the best.
Believing God for the best.
Yes. So that's my own. I told you I had a professional watchword. Information at its best, and believing God for the best. It's more like what drives me. And so it's not been very easy being a single man doing the profession. Because after he passed, we all had to do the PhD together. Of course, we are the wrapping up stage. But when I needed to keep them to sleep by 8, then I stayed up till 2. I still woke up to take them to school. So with the challenges, I just had it in mindset. I'd look at the bright side of life and keep going. And so that's kept me.
So the challenges has not affected your professional growth or educational growth in any way?
Oh, sincerely, it hasn't. I must say, it rather, because the times of loneliness made me do more researches. You won't believe it. Well, with the PhD, I took up another program. I did a PhD with still the same point.
Wow.
I took a professional French exams.
Wow.
And I used the period of the vacuum. I'm not saying I used it to fill the gap, but then I made it to work for me.
For you. Yeah.
I still miss my husband so much right now. It's not like I wish he was here, but then if nothing else could bring him back, then I'll keep progressing, knowing fully well wherever he is, he'll be happy to know I stood.
That's good. It's somehow tragic anyway, but I believe that you've taken it for good. Look at other side of that, and I can see the bright life ahead of you.
We'll get there.
Edeama, I would like to ask you this. What is your optimistic point? I know you've mentioned some part of that, but specifically, I want you to tell me, what is your driving force? What drives you in life? What is your optimistic point?
What drives me? What drives me is where I want to get to.
Where you want to get to?
When I look at where I'm going to, I tell myself that I need to get there. And so it keeps pushing me on. And so I believe for the best. So if you know where you're going to, it might not need to be financially, but I want to get to this point. Whatever your point might be, you might be a pastor, you might be whatever profession is, and you know where you're going to. When you wake up in the morning and you know you're going somewhere, you get ready to get there. So life's a journey. I know I'm getting somewhere, and so I prepare to get there every time. Set a goal, set a target, and go for it.
And your theme for life and professional?
Well, the first professional goal is information at its best.
At its best.
As a librarian, I want to give information at its best.
At the best.
Yes, and then looking at it summarily in my life, I always believe God for the best.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Ooh, super great. I may be an ambassador. I may have to work for the government. I also see myself doing great things with the youth. I love to work with the youth.
With the youth.
Yes, I love to work with the youth, and that gets the other aspect of me is information literacy, trying to get everyone literate. Information literacy is not about being able to read or write. It's having the need for information, evaluating this information, and knowing that you've got the information.
Interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Well, what is your advice for the youth nowadays?
Set a goal, go for it. But most importantly, like everyone says, you should believe in yourself. But it's beyond believing in yourself.
Okay.
Know where you're going to. Set a target. Aim for it without distractions, because there'll definitely be distractions in life. It could be an emotional distraction, it could be a tragic thing, it could just be anything. But set a goal for it and go for it, and then you're there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Optimistic Point. We've heard the story of this young lady, Edeama, and I believe that people who at home, we've learned one thing or the other. So this production is always on YouTube, on Facebook. can follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would say Dr. Edeama.
Oh yeah, come on.
To say that.
You be the first.